Welcome back to another episode of Learning with IPv Dre. First and foremost, if you hear some noise in the background, that is my Cisco lab. Fans are running. It might not be too bad, but I just want to let you guys know and be aware of that if you hear background noise. I also have my air conditioner running in the background. It's kind of hot today. So in this video, we're going to be adding users, changing passwords, installing Windows 10. We're just going to briefly go over how to install Windows 10 in your lab environment if you haven't already or we're having difficulties with it. And we are ultimately going to be joining the domain with that Windows 10 device, right? Just to recap and let you know again, I'm using Windows Server 2019 on VirtualBox, and I'm going to be using my Windows machine, my personal Windows machine, to join the Active Directory domain that we set up in the last episode, right? Don't mind that, that's my mailman outside. So that's what we're going to be doing in this video. Also, before we get into the video, I want to ask you guys for a favor. If this is your first time watching this video, just hit the subscribe button if you find value in the content, because right now about 86.5% of the people that are watching my videos are not subscribed. And thank you for the 13.5 people that are subscribed and keep coming back to watch the video. I love creating this kind of content because it's a little less burdensome with the production work that goes into it. I could just click record and demonstrate and learn with you guys, and upload the videos ASAP. It doesn't take me too long to edit it, if at all. Sometimes I don't edit at all. So if this is the type of content that you like to see and you're enjoying the channel, hit the subscribe button, right? Like, comment, hit the notification bell so that you know when I've uploaded a video. I just got my CCNA last month. It's not even just anymore. The time is flying. So I'm going to be focusing more on practical technical skills, and I'm going to be demonstrating them and uploading them in my video, right? Speaking of the CCNA, just a little story time. I was setting up my home network, my Cisco lab network, because I didn't want to do any of the demonstrations on my home network because I don't necessarily want to reveal my IP address scheme for my personal network, which I think is a good practice. If you're going to be creating these type of videos, you should ideally try not to reveal too much of your IP addressing scheme just for security purposes. I don't think it's that serious, but I'm a little OCD when it comes to that stuff, right? So I was troubleshooting some things, and it felt so good being able to resolve. I had two issues. Couldn't get any internet access on my couldn't get any internet access on my laptop for some reason, the computer I'm going to be demonstrating on. And I also kept getting locked out of my home network, my home lab, for some reason. So it felt good being able to troubleshoot that stuff, and I think that all comes with experience and practicing these things over time, because it was really intuitive for me to troubleshoot that stuff. But anyway, let me stop running my mouth and let's get into it. So here we are. The first thing we're going to do is we are going to add users, right? And let's see, they moved it down here. Okay, so let's log in, right? As you can see, we set the server up, right? This means that we are the administrator is part of the domain ipvdre.tech, right? So put our password in. And let's get to work. So, how are we going to add users on Active Directory? Just waiting for it to load up. My computer is super slow. I should have had all of this booted up already. But, you know how it is. All right, so first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go to Tools, then we go to Active Directory, Users and Computers. Super slow, super slow. Maybe I should have closed. You know what? I think I'm going to, let me do something real quick. Let me close Google Chrome. Close some things out. All right, so let's go back to full screen mode, right? Okay, so we're in Active Directory Users and Computers, and also I shouldn't use this view because it's not going to help me very much. So Active Directory Users and Computers. So as you can see here in the taskbar, we don't have it, right? So what I'm gonna do is this, and let me set my do not disturb because I don't want anybody interrupting what we got going on right now. All right, so pin the taskbar. That's something that's very useful. You don't want to have to keep on jumping into Server Manager and stuff. Each one of these you can pretty much open it up and then just pin it to your taskbar for easy access and convenience, right? Ooh, what's this? DNS? Look, I get so excited over networking stuff. It's ridiculous. I love all things networking, and I think that's pretty much why I'm doing these demonstration videos for Active Directory, because we get to do a lot of networking stuff today. Very network, I don't want to say network heavy, but a lot of networking stuff today. So we're gonna we ran Server Manager, right? Then we're gonna click Tools, then we hit Active Directory Users and Computers, right? And then we scroll down to Users, right? We hit Users, then we can see all of the users that's here, right? So we right click, select New, and then go down to, I'm sorry, my computer's a little wonky. Go down to User, and then you just start putting the information in. So we could just put, I don't know, IPv Dre Tech, I don't know, and put Tech. I'm just putting random stuff. User logon name, you could just put IPv Dre 2. I don't know. I just put in, just putting anything, and click next. Set a password. And then you could put password never expires, which is not advisable at all. You want to be able to change your password on a regular basis. User cannot change password. I think that's basically the user cannot change their change the password themselves without going through, I guess, the IT department. Account is disabled. That's if you get fired or suspended or whatever. And they don't want you having access to the account. User must change password at next logon. So I guess that's after the password is changed, or it'll probably prompt them to change the password. I don't know. At the next logon, we'll see. But yeah, I set the password, and now you could just pretty much review the information that's, or you can just go back. You know what, let me go back and put this there, and I'm gonna put password never expires, because this is an example, right? I should probably write down the information. But yeah, see, you can review the information in this little window right here, and then you just click finish, right? What? Because the password did not meet the password policy. See, yeah, you want, this is a key thing, I guess, when it comes to Active Directory, when you're in a real work environment. It needs to meet a certain password complexity requirement, right? I entered password as the password with all lower caps, no numbers, no special characters or anything, right? So you ideally want to tell your users to, you know, make the password as complex as possible, or I believe you can make the password as complex as possible. I think you have to give them the password. I'm not really sure, but the password needs to be as complex as possible. I don't know what the policies are for actually giving and changing passwords for users, but I think that's what the change at next logon is, right? User must change password at next logon. So I believe that's what that is, right? When you click this, and it won't let you. This is some really good learning stuff. So if you have password never expires, and you click user must change password at next logon, that's kind of, I guess, redundant or contradictory. It says you specify that the password should never expire. The user will not be required to change the password at next logon. So I guess the way that it works is, first and foremost, the password has to be complex enough that the system accepts it, right? Wait, what was that? Caps lock is on. Okay. Yeah. See, you can see I'm getting a little complex with it, but this is a lab environment and I don't care too much about the complexities, right? So you set the password for them. It could be something complex or what have you. Then it says the user must change password at next logon. So I'm guessing when the user logs on, it's going to prompt them to change the password, right? You can't select password never expires because that'll be redundant. Just click next, click finish. It accepted my fairly complex password. And now you can see that we have this user here, right? So just click this again. Let me see, you could kind of go through this information. Oops. Kind of go through the information. This has a whole bunch of information, right? You can screw around with this if you want. Profile, logon script, organization, job title, department. This is, I guess this is why they want us to learn Active Directory, because this is some very powerful stuff. Like, it has a lot of information on the user, on the person who's in the system, right? And I think that's why Active Directory is such, I guess, a powerful tool, because, you know, I'm pretty sure that HR has their own separate, I guess they're called, I forgot what they call. I think they call CRMs. I forgot what they call, but a database of employees where there's information, there's a file and everything. But this is good for IT, remote desktop services profile. See, we gotta mess around with this stuff too. Remote control, require users permission, view the user's session, interact with the session. Yeah, we're gonna have to play around with this stuff too, because I wanna know what this is about. Yeah, see, so you have all of these things, right? Member of, domain users, right? Let me see something. I think you can even change the permissions there. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it's pretty much how you create a user, right? Now, we verify the user's added, and here's another thing. While we're here, we're gonna create a user with administrator privileges. This is something that I learned from another channel. I don't know if it's the best practice, but this is something I learned from another channel. Right? You want, say you're starting as like a help desk IT person or whatever, and they need to give you an account with some administrator privileges. Rather than creating a whole new account like we just did just now and then adding the privileges and stuff like that, I guess you could just go here and you can copy it, and then you copy it, and then you just put, let's put, I don't know, we'll name him Anthony Boyd, user logon. We'll put, I don't know, Anthony Boyd. Next, and put the password. Password never expires. I don't think that's the best practice, but yeah, that. And then now we have an administrator, right? That is, we have an administrator, right? That's how we create an administrator. Now, I need to write these down because we're gonna need this at the end of when we're logging into the domain, which I'm still kind of rusty with. So this video is gonna be very long. Hopefully you guys have the time. This is a great video to watch, I guess, late at night while the kids are asleep and you want to learn this stuff, because I'm gonna go, I don't know, fairly slow and talk through this stuff because I want to create that I guess that vibe. And again, I want to make these videos live streams so that, you know, we can work together, and you know, you can ask me questions or interact with me while it's streaming. I have to get another, I have an iPad over there. I'll use the iPad to kind of watch the interaction and interact, right? So I wrote down that user so that we can come back to it later and use it to log into the domain. Because when you're adding your computer to the domain, it's going to ask you to log in with a user that's part of the domain, I believe, right? So yeah, we have Anthony Boyd. This is something else that I saw somebody do. Advanced features. Users. Also, if you want to search for a user, like say somebody's getting fired. That's not funny, but say somebody's getting fired, right? And you need to search for, say Anthony Boyd is getting fired, right? You want to find a user, right? And then you want to search the entire directory, and then you look up Anthony Boyd, right? Find now. Oh, we found him, right? Click in, and then account. You can unlock account if the account was locked. Where is it? Where did I see it before? General. Let me see. Address, account. You can get all the information. Telephone, organization, object. See, this is the advanced view, right? Password replication, member of. You can remove them from groups. I saw it somewhere where you can pretty much lock the user or disable it. Oh no, that's when we setting up the password. Anyway, so yeah, you can also, If you want to reset the password, you can do it like this. Search for the user and then reset password. Boom, that's how you do it. And you just reset the password, right? Or if you already know that Anthony Boyd is in the users group, you go to Anthony Boyd, right click, reset password. Oh, there it is. Disable account. If he's fired, suspended, whatever, hit disable account, and you're set right there. Hold on one second. Need to check something over here. Yeah. Making sure that OBS is doing what I want it to do, right? So, dang, we're already 20 minutes in. This is gonna be a long video, but let's see how it does. No rush, right? So, got my notes over here. Changing the user's password. We already did that. We did that all in one swing, right? So let's rewind. Let's go back. Let's close all of this out, right? Say, and I'm not gonna close this out because it takes a while to start up on my slow ass computer. So, you wanna change a user's password or reset a password, change a password. Ideally, hopefully, you would have pinned Active Directory users and computers to the taskbar, right? But if you didn't, go into Tools, Active Directory users and computers. Also, if you don't know how to get into Server Manager, you can ideally go here, and I think you can just type Server Manager and it'll come up. Yeah, Server Manager. You can press the Windows R button. I think you can hit Server Manager. Let's see. I don't know. I think I typed it wrong. But anyway, you can do it that way. You can search it. Also, once you finally find it, or you can go here. Server Manager is right here. You can pin it to the taskbar. Pin it to the taskbar once it's up. But anyway, changing the user's password. Say there's a few domains, there's a few directories and everything, and you want to search. Go here. Just right click it. Then put entire directory. We're gonna search for IPv Dre. IPv Dre. Find now. You found him right there. And you can reset his password. You can disable his account. You can send the mail. You can rename the account. You can delete it altogether. You can add a group. So that is really straightforward. It's a shame it took me so long to really get into Active Directory, because this is actually pretty cool to kind of corral everybody into one little space, right? So that's pretty much it. That's how you create a user, reset a password, change a password, and you also learn how to disable somebody's account if they're getting fired or they're getting laid off or whatever. And the reason why I keep bringing that up and why that's important is because a lot of the times a company could avoid data breaches and catastrophic deletion of directories and things of that nature just by disabling these disgruntled workers' accounts, right? Because if the person's account credentials are still active after they're let go or leave, that's a security issue, right? And that's something that I guess to us beginners is not as obvious, but you'd be surprised, right? So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to show you how to install Windows 10 on your VirtualBox. We did this before, but we're going to do it again because this is essential to joining the domain, right? So you're going to go to Google Chrome, or you go to Google. See, I was doing some troubleshooting earlier today. I was getting a connection refused by remote host message because my access server had timed out. I'm gonna talk about my Cisco lab real quick. I use 4 Cisco routers and 3 Cisco switches, right? One of the Cisco routers is a 2500 series router, and I use it as an access server to console into each device, all 6 devices simultaneously. If you don't set or configure an appropriate session timeout, you're gonna end up getting locked out. So for instance, I set the session timeout for 15 minutes. So I was moving from device to device with the access server, issuing commands to set up OSPF, to set up router on a stick, and to set up the whole network and everything. And then after 15 minutes, the connection to each respective device timed out. So I had to go into the configuration and change the timeout so that I can log back in. I had to also reset my access server. So yeah, that's how you troubleshoot things. Contrary to what a lot of people believe, IT people don't know everything. We don't know everything. So we Google and we get clues and we get hints, and this stuff becomes intuitive, and it makes it possible for you to solve problems, right? So yeah. Now, okay, so we Googled Microsoft evaluation, right? Evaluation Center. Once you do that, you go to Windows. You go to Windows 10 Enterprise. And it says get started for free. So then under that, you click the download the ISO Enterprise for Windows 10. And then just put your information in so you can use a free trial, right? Click download now, and the file is going to drop into your downloads folder. And then you are well on your way to installing it, right? Let's close this out because this uses a lot of resources that I don't have. Then you're going to come over to VirtualBox, right? Once you come over to VirtualBox, let's close this down for now because we're gonna do that later. Once you go to VirtualBox, you go to New, and then you type in for the name Windows. Type in Windows 10. Click Next, and then you should ideally allocate like 4 gigs. I guess 2 would be enough, but allocate 4 just to be safe. I think 50 gigs is enough for a virtual hard disk. Create VDI VirtualBox disk image. Click Next. Dynamically allocated, yes, because you want it to grow in capacity dynamically. You don't want it to be fixed, or maybe you want it to be fixed. You got the 50 gigs. Create. Boom. You created a computer. You basically install the RAM, you put the RAM chips in, you put the hard drive in, and you essentially created your computer. That's what virtualization essentially is from a very high level standpoint, right? Then you are going to, you double click it, right? And this is something that I just discovered yesterday. I don't know why, but now it's asking you to select a startup disk. So now we have this. This is Windows Server, right? This is a Windows Server ISO. I'm not going to install it, but I'm showing you how you can start the installation process. And once the installation process starts, you can probably pause from here and then restart the video when you have Windows 10 installed, right? So ideally, if this is not the ISO that you want to use, click this, then click add, and then you have to search for the ISO, right? It might be in your downloads folder, your documents, music, I don't know where it is, right? These are my labs write-ups. You click that, boom, you start installing it. Follow the directions closely. When you get to the screen where it asks you which version of which kind of install you want to do custom install, right? Not gonna go through all of that because I don't have the resources to go through it. Hopefully, as things, you know, progresses with this channel, I can get a proper PC with more than enough space so that I can demonstrate a plethora of things, right? Delete all files. All right, so Windows Server, we got Windows Server, boom, boom, boom. Now, the next thing is joining the domain with Windows 10. Now, this is gonna require some networking skills. This is the fun part. So, where are we? We're gonna go back here. So, we're gonna do some, you know, we're gonna do some network exercises, right? This is the fun stuff. Network exercises. Where's our command prompt? So, we need a command prompt. We need a command prompt. Boom, we pull up the command prompt. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this trusty, if you're working on becoming a network engineer, network technician, I think this is your bread and butter, one of your bread and butters, if you will. One of your amazing tools in your toolbox, Ipconfig All. Now this gives you a lot of valuable information, right? Shows you your host name, Windows Server 2019, primary DNS suffix, ipvdre.tech, because this PC has been joined to a domain, right? And it's gonna say connection specific DNS suffix none, because it's not connected to, we're not connected to anything, right? We're gonna see that change in a little bit, ideally. Physical address, that is your MAC address, right? DHCP right now is enabled. We're gonna disable that. Auto configuration enabled. IPv6, love IPv6. This is a link local address. Now here, IPv4 address, 10.0.2.15 preferred. That is the default IP address that's set for the Windows Server. Now, what we're gonna do, and it says the default gateway is 10.0.2.2, DHCP server, 10.0.2.2, right? DNS servers, that is the link local, the loopback for IPv6, right? The loopback is just basically is used for testing, right? We're gonna change all of that. And how we're gonna do that is, let's close this out. And we're gonna have some settings, right? We're gonna put some settings into this, right? So let's go to control panel. It's a very vital part, right? Oh, it's right here. I should be clicking this. All right, so see, we're on a private network. Currently it says no internet access, and we're gonna really go through all of that in a second, right? So ideally, let's go to change adapter settings. I'm just thinking real quick because this is where it's gonna be different for me and you and I. So we're gonna click into that. Let's go back. Let's go back real quick. I'm going too fast. So once you go into control panel, you go to network and sharing center, then you go to change adapter settings, right click properties, then go to internet protocol version 4, right? TCP/IP version 4. Now, obtain an IP address automatically. That means that DHCP is enabled. Remember what I said in the previous video, we want to set in a static IP for a server that needs 100% 24/7 uptime and accessibility. If you set it for DHCP, the IP address is going to change frequently, right? I think it even shows something about lease time. And you know, we're gonna do this networking. I love this. This is my favorite part. So, oh wait, this is the wrong one. Oops, sorry, I got it confused. That was for my Windows machine. Right. So now this is where we are. Now, you can see here, this is what I'm talking about. You can see right here, lease obtained Thursday, June 9th, 2022, 9:59 a.m. And it's going to expire tomorrow, Friday, June 10th, 2022, 9:58 a.m. That's exactly 24 hours of lease time that it has. So that means that this IP address is going to change tomorrow at 9:58 a.m. Ideally, you don't want it to change. This is why we are going to go into here and use the following add IP address. We're going to be little network engineer, network technicians, if you will, and we're going to set up our own static IP address so that the hosts can reach the server 24/7, right? Without the IP address changing or what have you, right? So this is my IP address scheme for my Cisco lab, right? So what I'm gonna do is, for the IP address for this server is going to be, I don't want to tab it, 10.8.1.16, right? Oh wait, nope. Wait, hold on 1 second. I think that is not the IP address scheme. Bear with me 1 second. No, that's not the IP address scheme. So we're gonna see, we're doing something that's a little bit impromptu right here. So the IP addressing scheme is going to be 10, 20, 30, right? So the IP address scheme, because in my notes I have it set for something different, but the IP address scheme that we are going to use is 192.168.30.16, right? And then we're going to use a /24 mask. So now, just a little bit of a networking lesson, right? I said /24, which is 255.255.255.255. When you're converting this subnet mask to binary, you have, in this octet, these are octets, by the way. This is an octet, this is an octet, this is an octet, this is an octet. Each octet, for, like, say, for each octet has, it's octet, it has 8 digits, right? 255 simply means that all of the bits are turned on. All of them are ones, right? So it's 1 1 1 1 1 1 1 1, right? And those of you who know binary, we know that the first digit represents 1 because it's 2 to the 0 power. It's base 2. So it's 2 to the 0 power, that's 1. Then the next one is going to be 2 to the 1, which is 2. The next one is going to be 2 to the 2, which is 4. And it goes up exponentially all the way up to the 8th bit. And then you add up all of those bits, and then you're going to get 255, right? So it's a /24 because, like I said, all of the bits are turned on, and you have 3 of these octets where all 8 bits are turned on. So 8 times 3 is 24. So when you hear me saying /24, it means 255.255.255.255. A /27 would be a 255.255.255.224. I'm doing too much, but let's just get back to this. So our default gateway, what is our default gateway? Our default gateway needs to ideally be, it needs to be the same default gateway that's going to be for our Windows computer, right? And that had my information in it there. So 192.168.30.30. Let me just double check real quick, because I don't want to see, these are config templates. See, this is some high level stuff, some complicated stuff, because yeah, this is where we're gonna have to end up learning how to automate and everything, right? So don't worry about all of this stuff. This is CCNA stuff. This is networking stuff. So I'm just double checking to make sure that everything is correct. So the router IP address, yes, the default gateway is 30.30, right? Boom. So now the preferred DNS server. This is where it gets kind of tricky, and hopefully I get this right on the first try, or else we're gonna be troubleshooting, which is gonna, because I didn't test this last night. Last night I wrote up all of this stuff, but I didn't test any of it. So hopefully it works in one shot. If it doesn't, well, we'll see. Alternate DNS server. So I guess the alternate DNS server could be, I don't know. I think we could use, let's use our router. I don't have DNS services set up on the router. Doesn't really matter. 1.1.1.1. I believe that's Cloudflare, I believe. See, and that's the thing, DNS. Let's talk about DNS real quick. What is DNS? So DNS is essentially the phone book of the internet. I like to use that analogy a lot. It's not my analogy. It's something that I stole from the internet somewhere. So basically, a DNS server resolves host names to IP addresses. So us humans, when we say for instance, we go into a website, say we're going to do google.com. I was about to say Google. Say we're going to google.com. Google server is, I believe it's 8.8.8.8. Let's just say that Google's server for google.com is 8.8.8.8. We go to a web application, we go to a web browser, and we type in google.com. We don't know the IP addresses for each web server that we want to get to. So we have host names for each server because it makes more sense and it's easier for us humans to remember. But remember, computers communicate with binary, right? Like I just explained the subnet mask, computers use binary, same type of concept. So Google web server is 8.8.8.8. Its host name is google.com, and the job of the DNS server is to resolve, right, those two entities together, right? Google.com equals 8.8.8.8. The DNS server brings those together. Now, what is the process of this? So our computer makes a request to google.com, right? It's looking for google.com, but it has to go through the DNS server. So it says to the DNS server, it's basically saying to the DNS server, hey, this human just typed in this string, google.com. I don't know what that means. Do you know the IP address for google.com? And then the DNS server says, okay, let me go check. So it goes out, it checks. First of all, I think it checks its DNS cache to see if it already resolved those that host name with the IP address. And then if it doesn't, it connects to another known DNS server out there, I guess on the internet. And that's called, I believe, recursive lookup, right? So if it finds a DNS server that knows the answer to that question, the DNS server will send that information back to our DNS server, and the DNS server will tell the computer what the IP address is for google.com. That's basically how it works, right? Ideally, you want, I know for myself, I like private DNS servers so that my ISP doesn't sell my searches. Like, you know, like say I look up a lot of computer stuff, I look up a lot of tech stuff. I don't want them selling my information to some advertising company or something, and then next thing you know, I'm getting all these ads on my computer. No, I don't want none of that. DNS does a lot of different things too that we're not even going to even get into, but that's the gist of it. And I think that's why the Active Directory stuff is so cool, because we have essentially our Active Directory domain controller, I believe, acting as our DNS server, right? It's our DNS server. We can control what we want to resolve, what we don't want to resolve, and this is pretty much how I guess one of the ways that employers block websites and stuff like that. You're supposed to be working, not looking up Facebook stuff, right? So this is what we have here, right? These are my settings. 192.168.30.16 for my IP address for the DNS server, right? For the Windows server, for our Active Directory domain controller, right? Then we have our subnet mask /24. I don't feel like saying that whole number. Then we have a default gateway of 192.168.30.30. This stuff is very important because it puts our DNS server on the same subnet as our machine, or we should probably think of it, I like to think of it vice versa, right? We have our Active Directory server, our domain controller, we have that Windows server on a network, on a subnet, right? And this is the whole idea with joining the subnet, joining the domain, right? In order to join a domain, we need to have our domain controllers, because you have more than one, on the same subnet as the network of devices and computers that we want to join to that domain. This right here, this all of this information right here defines a subnet, right? And we know a subnet mask. What is a subnet mask? I didn't really get into what a subnet mask is. A subnet mask essentially divides an IP address into two parts, right? The network part and the host part. Now, when you're using like CIDR notation, which is what I used when I said 255.255.225.224, that's CIDR notation. We're splitting the IP addresses up into three parts: the network part, the subnet part, and the host part. We're borrowing from the host part to create our subnet, right? And subnets have different sizes. This is a /24, which means that the subnet size is, I would say it's a size of about 254 hosts, right? If we have a bigger enterprise network, we'd want to use a /mask that accommodates a bigger subnet, right? Which accommodates a bigger subnet, meaning more devices. So if we have like, let's say we have like 1,000 devices, we're going to need maybe a total of, I don't want to say 1,000 devices. Maybe we're going to need, if we have 1,000 devices, we can use a subnet size. We can use 10 subnet bits, right? And say that we have, we're using a Class A IP address, which is 8. Network size is 8. Default network size is 8. That's a /18. Yeah, that's a huge, I think I did the math correctly. That's a huge subnet, right? No, that's a 10 plus 18. No, 10 plus 8 is 18. And then you're gonna get, let me not even, because that'll give us actually that'll give us a lot of room. Anyway, let's not even go into all the subnetting math. I'm trying to do it all in my head. Anyway, got a little carried away there, right? So, that's basically what we did. And then the default gateway, in order for us to be on the same subnet, we need to have the default gateway set, right? So that we're all on the same network, right? So there's that, right? Yeah, wait, hold on. Yeah, so if we have a 2 to the 10, that'll give us 1024 minus 2, which will give us 1022. And then that's what we need. But if we have a class, if we're using the class A IP address, that's a /18, which means that we actually have more room to grow. So we can use a 2 to the 14, which is a huge amount of IP addresses. Sorry, that's just my CCNA brain calculating subnet stuff. I went over some subnet stuff in my in another video, but we're like an hour in. Let's go. So now the preferred DNS is going to be its own IP address because it's going to be its own DNS server, right? And then the alternate DNS Cloudflare. We don't really need to go into that too much. The settings that I would give you to use for your computer is I would tell you to use, let me create a new notepad for you so that you guys can do this for yourself. So for your Windows server, your IP address should be 10.1.10.1, right? That's for your Windows server. For your subnet mask, go ahead and put in 255.255.255.0. If you guys care about networking, that is a /24. Your default gateway, gotta make sure I typed it properly. Your default gateway is going to be 10.1.10.254, right? That is going to be your default gateway is your router, right? Your DNS is going to be your DNS1, the first one, right? Is going to be 10.1.10.1, right? DNS1, when I say DNS1 and DNS2, alternate DNS, your DNS1 is going to be this box right here. Just want to let you guys know that. So you got that. DNS2 is that you can just use your default gateway. I think that should suffice, right? And then you're going to click OK. But for your Windows 10, you want your IP address. Don't need to put all of that there. 10.1.10.2, right? Your subnet mask 255.255.255.0, right? And your default gateway. Well, default gateway. You don't need to type all that out. 10.1.10.254. That's gonna essentially put your Windows device on the same subnet as your domain controller. That's very important to know. Very important networking stuff. Basic but important. The basics are important, right? Then for your DNS, you're gonna put the DNS. You're gonna put the IP address of the DNS server. DNS2. 10.1.10.254. The default gateway should suffice. So that's gonna be your information, right? I was gonna save it just in case. No. Put 2. Yeah, there we go. So that's gonna be your information. You can pause the video if you wanna write that down, take a screenshot or whatever. But with these settings, it puts your domain controller and your Windows device on the same server, right? On the same subnet, not the same server, the same subnet. I mean, technically they will be on the same server, but they're gonna be on the same subnet. All right, so hopefully you got that. Boom, we're gonna keep it moving. And click OK, right? We got that, we changed it. Now let's just play around a little bit. Let's see if I can ping Let's verify. Let's verify. Let's see if I can ping the Windows server from my Windows machine, right? We should be able to, right? We should be able to ping this is my Windows device now, right? You can see I don't even have my DNS suffix. Nice, because I don't. Anyway, I'm not even going to that. Basically, I use a VPN, so I don't really use my ISP's DNS. But that's a whole nother topic. So ideally, since we're on the same subnet as the Windows server, we should be able to ping it, right? So let's ping it. And what was it? 192.168.30.16. Wow, it's unreachable. I can't get in contact with it, right? So this is how us networking people like to troubleshoot things, right? So we're pinging it. We can't get in contact with the server. So what do we do? What is our next step? So we see that packet sent, 4 received, 4 lost, 0. Wait, what is it? Okay, for some reason it's saying that it received 4 packets and it said it lost, but it's saying that the destination is 0. It says the loss is 0. That doesn't make any sense. That didn't turn out how I expected. I thought it would say 100% loss, but it's saying it's unreachable. The host is unreachable. I wonder why. So we go in here, right? Network settings, and we're gonna change this to bridged adapter, right? Now it should work. Oh, I'm about to say what? You see it went down and it came back up. I'm like, wait, what? Now let's see. Now I'm getting a reply, right? So let me explain to you what I just did. So essentially what I just did was I bridged, I guess that's what that means. I bridged the virtual NIC from the virtual machine that I'm circling, where I'm circling this whole thing. The virtual machine. So basically virtual machines have virtual NICs. What is a NIC? A NIC is a network interface card, and that allows for a device to get network connectivity. It allows for that device to get an IP address, DHCP settings, and all of that stuff, right? So a virtual NIC is just the software version of a hardware NIC. Every hardware device has some sort of NIC, network interface card. Your phone has it, your laptop has it, your router has some form of NIC. The wireless devices has wireless NIC. See, this is A+ stuff, right? This is important to know. And each one of these cards also have hardware addresses that's split into 2 different things. You got the OUI and then you got the vendor ID, right? The OUI and then you have the vendor ID. They're split into 3 bytes each. That's the MAC address split into 3 bytes each, right? So it's a lot of CCNA stuff, but that's also, I believe that's A+ also. So all of this stuff you got to learn for A+. Even the networking stuff that I was talking about, all A+ stuff you're seeing being applied in real time, right? So now the virtual machine has a virtualized NIC, a software NIC, right? And it has the capability, and then the computer has a hardware NIC, which is its wireless NIC. Now, the virtual NIC has the capability of being bridged to the physical NIC, and that's essentially what I did when I checked the setting, network setting of bridged adapter, and you see TP-Link Gigabit Ethernet USB adapter. So that's another little cool A+ thing. I mean, I don't think A+ really covers this, but I have this says invalid settings detected. I don't know what they're talking about, but I don't know if you can see. You can't see it. Maybe you can see it. No, you can't see it. I'm not even gonna move my camera. I'm not plugging anything out, but it's basically this little USB device that has USB on one end and it has a RJ45 jack on the other end. And I'm doing that because my laptop is very slimline and it doesn't support an RJ45 jack. So I had to use a USB to RJ45 to get that network adapter to work. So if you're looking for a cool device that can help you, look for this. TP-Link Gigabit Ethernet USB adapter. Wait, I can show you on Google's real quick. TP-Link Gigabit USB adapter. I thought it was gonna guess it properly, but it didn't. This is what I'm using. I'm using this one right here. I didn't pay. Wait, no, that's a USB-C. It's this one, but I have the one that's white. I didn't pay $12.99 for it, but you can get this if you have like a laptop and you want to convert it. You want an RJ45 jack, and you want to kind of like hardwire your laptop to a network, because that's what I did with my Cisco in order for it to get onto my Cisco network, because I don't have a wireless access point set up on there right now. I didn't want to set all of that up, right? But yeah, this video is over an hour. I hope you're here. I hope you're still here, and I hope you're having a good time. I hope you got some snacks, some juice and stuff like that. But yeah, that's essentially what I did. Again, this is important, right? So what I did, if you're like me and you have a similar setup where you have Windows Server 2019 and you have a Windows device, say you have Windows 7 Server 2019, say you have VirtualBox installed, and you're doing this all on a Windows machine, by no means do you have to download a separate ISO for your Windows 10, right? You can use your Windows 10 device that you're installing all this stuff on. So you install VirtualBox, then you install Windows Server on top of that. But what you have running under all of that is a Windows 10 machine. You can just simply create another account on your Windows 10, a local account on your Windows 10 device, and create a separate just do what I'm doing and join the domain that's on your Windows Server with your Windows 10 machine. And how you do that is you use the bridged adapter feature, right? Now, for those of you who've installed, you got your, say you're using a Mac, right? You have a Mac, right? This is a type 2 hypervisor, which is VirtualBox, and this is your Mac, right? Your Mac software, right? You install your VirtualBox, you installed Windows Server, and you installed Windows 10, right? All in the lab environment in VirtualBox. If that's what you did, this is the setting that you need to use. You need to use this setting. You need to use host only adapter. Basically, I don't really understand what host only adapter is, but I understand what it does. So what it basically does is it, I guess, containerizes, for lack of a better term, your lab environment, and it's like you're using the VNix to connect to VirtualBox network or network adapter, and that network is isolated. It can't get to the internet. I don't think it can get to the internet, right? So how you make sure that that works is you go to your VirtualBox, go to Tools, you see VirtualBox host only Ethernet adapter. This is a weird, well, it's not a weird number. That's not used to seeing 56 here. But you see they're using a /24, right? DHCP server enabled. So basically, VirtualBox is its own little network, and your virtual machines are the devices that exist within that network. Did I shut it down? I hope I didn't shut down the virtual machine. Oh, it's running still. Oh, okay, that would have been annoying. See, DNS is there. It's up, right? It's up and it's connected. Now, I hope that helped you guys out with that. Again, just want to repeat, for those of you who've installed Windows Server 2019 and Windows 10 on VirtualBox, make sure that you have for both of your virtual machines, for your Windows 10 virtual machine and your Windows 2019 virtual machine. Go to devices, go to network settings, and host only adapter. Make sure you do host only. It's cloud. Everything's about cloud nowadays. This is experimental. Host only host only adapter, right? I need some water, excuse me. Been talking for an hour straight. Host only adapter. That's what you're gonna select. Me, I'm not doing that because I just explained it, right? And you're gonna do it for both of your devices. Now, now we're gonna do, I guess, one last thing. This is where we're almost done. Now that we have both of the devices on the same subnet, we have both of them on the same subnet. What are we gonna do? We're gonna go to our machine now. This is my actual laptop. This is my actual machine. Gonna go to control panel. Go to network and internet. We're gonna go to network and sharing center. Then we are going to go to change adapter settings. And we're gonna go right here. See, this is the VirtualBox host only network. This is what I'm talking about. So if you're on VirtualBox with both of your devices, this is the adapter. And then I guess within this adapter, it has, let me see some details. See, IPv4 address, 192.168.56.1, right? Where's the default gateway? No default gateway, but I guess it has its own little environment where within it, all the hosts are connected together. So it works out fine, right? So we're gonna go here, we're gonna go to properties, and then we're going to go to, we're gonna scroll down, we're gonna go right here. I didn't see it for a second. I was about to say, what's going on? All right, so we're gonna type in these details. Remember, what we're doing now is we're going to put this device, it already was on the same subnet, but I'm doing some manual configuration. We're gonna make sure that this device is on the same subnet as our Windows server, where Active Directory domain controller exists, right? So we're gonna do 192. I guess we could use the same IP address that I had before. 168.30.1. Subnet mask 255.255.255.0, which is /24. Little networking lesson there. 192.168.30.30. And now, the moment of truth. Let's see if this actually works. 192.168.30.16. And then alternate DNS, we're just gonna do 1.1.1.1. Now this, the preferred DNS is the IP address. The preferred DNS server is the IP address of the Windows server we just spent 2 videos setting up, right? So let's go back here and let's look. Right, let's go here. IPVDre.tech, you see that's the network, right? It says it right there. And then look, the DNS server. This is the IP of the DNS server, right? Okay, let's go boom, boom, boom. Now let's go back here. It's kind of confusing looking. And then let's click OK. Multiple default gateways are intended to provide redundancy to a single network, such as an intranet or internet. They will not function properly when the gateways are on two separate disjointed networks, such as one on your internet and one on the internet. Do you want to save this configuration? Yeah. Oh, okay. So you know what we're gonna actually do? Let's do this. Oh, dot 30 dot 30. Let's use our router. Let's use our router. Well, I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what that means. Let's go. Let's see if we can join it. Now, if this doesn't work out, this is ideally how you would join a domain. If all the settings are correct, ideally we'll be able to log in to the domain with our physical machine that we're using. Also, you would be able to pretty much do the same thing if you are doing this with your VirtualBox exclusive lab environment setup. So you have Windows Server 2019 and Windows 10 all installed on VirtualBox. These next steps should be ideally the same. So let's go. Let's see what we can do here. We're gonna go to, I think we could just go to the C drive, this PC. So let's rewind again. So what are we doing? We're gonna search for this PC, and we can do it this way. We can go this way, right here, click properties, or we can do the C colon, then go to this PC, then click properties, advanced system settings, and we're gonna go to here, and then we go to change domain ipvdre.tech, and then click OK. And the moment of truth, we should be able to get in. So what are we gonna use? We're gonna use Anthony Boyd, right? He's our employee. Anthony Boyd. Hold on, just writing something real quick. All right, Anthony Boyd, all right? Then click OK. We did it. Now we're part of the ipvdre.tech domain, right? It says welcome to the ipvdre.tech domain. Now, you must restart your computers to apply these changes. Boom, let's restart the computer. I'm gonna show you something real quick. So we got it done in one shot, right? An hour and 13 minutes so far. But again, it's all good. Like, this is, I think that if you watch this video all the way through, thank you if you watch it all the way through. First of all, you're a legend for doing that. Secondly, this is something I've done. I did it 2 times before. Well, 2 times. One time maybe like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and before that a whole year ago I've done this. But at that time, back in 2021, I was only doing it because, and that's when I didn't even have, I think I had just gotten my A+ certification, and my mentors were like, you need to learn Active Directory, I'm like, I need to get this CCNA. That's what I want to be. I want to be in the networking side of things. So I'm glad that I got familiar with the installation process and some of the, troubleshooting things around the adapters and stuff like that. But I really wanted to do that CCNA, and I'm glad I did. And then I came back to it because now I'm able to understand why this works the way that it does. Why before? Because before I was having issues joining the domain, and that's because prior to my CCNA, I didn't have a concept of a subnet. Like, I understood what a subnet was, but I didn't have the concept of the intricacies of how to subnet and how to put devices on the same subnet so that they can enact a specific, have a specific plan, right? So yeah, I'm waiting for this to start up. Waiting for this to restart. This morning, like I said before, I had to set up my whole Cisco lab. Well, I didn't have to set up all of the devices, but it's good to get the practice in setting everything up. I have 4 routers, 3 switches, as I mentioned before. One of them is a layer 3 switch, and I have router on a stick set up. So basically what router on a stick is, it allows for us to create one trunk between the router and the switch using sub interfaces and using the 802.1q encapsulation trunking protocol, right? So this is taking a long time to restart. I wonder what's going on. So yeah, that's essentially what I had to set up this morning. Had only a few minor hiccups, nothing serious. Yeah, there we go. So we're not gonna IPv Lab. That's a local. That's a local user. That's for my local machine, right? We're gonna use other user, right? Sign into IPv right? Look, how we're gonna do that is if I wanted to sign into the local user, right? I would just type Andres-ThinkPad / and I would put IPv lab, and I'll put those credentials in, right? But I want to log into my domain, right? So it's gonna be, and it says sign into IPv right? I don't think let's see if I could just type the credentials without having to put that. No, I didn't have to do that. So if you wanted to sign into a different domain that exists on Active Directory, all you have to do is put in the directory name, the domain name, / and then put the account for it. It's pretty much all you would do. So just waiting for it to log in. Yeah, it takes a little while, but yeah, this is fun. I like doing this. I'm hoping that I can do this in a live stream format, and then just pretty much use my little iPad to I have my iPad right here, and then look at the messages or the chat, read the chat that you guys send in. These videos are really, really fun, and again, they're easy to do, they're easy to produce, because all you got to do is turn the camera on, and well, it's much more than that, but you turn the camera on and you just record, you just demonstrate. Yeah, this takes so long. My computer is slow. What? Oh, that's right. So, okay, so I understand what happened. So the reason why this is not working is because I have I didn't even think about it. Okay, it makes sense. you don't want to do it the way that I did it. But we see that I was able to join the domain. Let's log back into this. See, this is why I like doing this stuff and why I'm doing it the way I am. Why I'm doing it the way I am. So, yeah. So, okay, so basically what happened is this. Since I have the domain running on a virtual machine that's dependent on this being up, on my computer being up, it's not available, so it can't join. It's down. It's technically down. If I had the domain set up on a different server, or if I had it set up in a VirtualBox environment, like people who are setting it up in that VirtualBox environment has it set up, then it will join. But you saw that I was able to join the domain from my computer. So we're gonna do it again. I mean, it shouldn't be a big deal. It shouldn't be a big deal. I just won't be able to join from my computer if the virtual machine is not up. That's the only thing. It's not really a problem. But all of those steps that I just showed you are still valid. It's just that I can't join the domain with the account that I created on the domain because the domain is technically not up because my computer is not up on which I have the server on, if that makes any sense. So that's pretty much what happened. It's almost as if that's what happens when the server is down. That's a message that you're gonna get when the server is down. Now I'm just waiting for this to start up so I can just look at it. Nope. All right, so basically what happened is, since I have, you know what I'd be able to do? Let's try it this way. Let's see. Windows Server, it was it's technically off when this machine, my physical hardware is the let me close this. Let me see if I can close this. Nope, cannot close this. Do not want this to run right now. Basically, my physical laptop is hosting the server in a virtual machine. So when I was restarting it, it was down. So I wasn't able to log on with those credentials. But I think if I, yeah, my computer is janky. So this is, I'll start it up. I'm gonna start it up and then I'm going to sign out and see if I can join. It should still be running in the background, I think. And if not, then we'd have learned something new. See, that's the thing with these videos. You're always gonna learn something new. You're gonna see these little quirks and these little things with running it in a lab environment, which is what you wanna do. You wanna make mistakes in lab environments. I'm telling you that from now, because I've read so many horror stories about engineers messing up in production and stuff. I was just looking at OBS and I was like, dang, it'd be crazy if I was not recording any of this video. Yeah, bear with me. My computer is extremely slow. So what I think I can do is, I think I could switch user. Yeah, I think I can switch user and log in. And I think that, oh look, my shirt is matching. It's matching. But I think I could switch user and still be able to log in. Why do I keep doing that? Alright, let's see. IPv/administrator. So we joined, that means that we joined the administrator during the initial setup in the last video to the domain, right? So it's connected. So I remember all of this was so intimidating to me. Now I'm able to kind of, and again, the CCNA taught me how to really think in a deductive reasoning type of way. So the server, let's make sure that the server is up. Cancel this. Cancel this. Let's make sure that the server is fully up. I want to see those green lights. Yep, it's all green, all servers, they're up, right? So let's do this. Let's switch user. Let's see if I can log in with our employee, Anthony Boyd. What? The security database on the server does not have a computer account for this workstation trust relationship. I don't know what that means. See, we're learning all of this. Let me look that up. Let me Google that. But essentially, we did what we were supposed to do. We joined it. Let me see, the security database on the server. Maybe IPv Dre got fired. Does not have a computer account for this workstation trust relationship. So I don't know how. Let's see how he fixes. I'm Googling it. Okay, this is yeah, I don't know. And I don't feel like troubleshooting it on the camera right now. But let me see something. I don't think this is gonna make a difference, but I don't think this make a difference, but do I need to put a space there? Nope. Let's see. Well, that's pretty much it. I don't want to make this video too long, but you see me over here bumbling and fumbling and stuff. But let's see. Let's go to yeah, it's part of the domain though. That's all we can ask for, right? So that's pretty much it. Gotta do a little light editing in this video because there was some gaps. Don't want to make it too boring. But anyway, in the next video, what are we gonna do? I don't know what we're gonna do in the next video. Might tinker around a little bit, or I might end the series there. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. But that's basically how to. What is going on? That's basically how to set up Active Directory. That's basically how to install VirtualBox, install Windows Server and Windows 10. We also set up Active Directory. We created new users, changed the passwords, and we did a little networking stuff, and then we joined the domain. So if you enjoyed this video and if it helped you out, comment, like, subscribe, put on those post notifications, because I'm going to be doing a lot more content like this, especially with like the network. Be doing a lot of network monitoring content. So if you're very interested in networking, this is the channel for you. So I'll talk to you guys next time.